All right, guys, welcome to Fumble Fever. Another week in college football we go. It feels like this season's already flying by. But for the Big Ten, their season is just now starting. We've got a lot of big matchups that we're going to cover, some quick fire picks that we're going to get at you today. And we're excited to have you with us again. We're going to jump right into the action. We're going to start in the Big Ten with Nebraska playing Ohio State, the two teams that wanted to play the most, get to play each other to start the season off. So how you feeling about this game in particular?
I got Ohio State in this one. It's pretty much gonna be like a flex for them. It's not gonna be close. It's not gonna be pretty.
I have to agree with you. I think there's a lot of talent for Ohio State, for the Buckeyes going into this game. I think Nebraska, as much as they wanted to play, they're fair. I would say they're fair. I think they can't hang with the big boys in the Big Ten, such as Ohio State, such as Minnesota, Michigan State, Penn State. Even Iowa. I think there's a lot of teams that are ahead of Nebraska right now. I would put them somewhere in the middle. But I think somebody's going to have to make room as Ohio State makes their way into the top four after this game. And big blowout victory for the Buckeyes. And Justin Fields starts his Heisman campaign.
You think he'll get it?
The Heisman? We'll see how the season goes. I think he's got a good shot, but I think he's got a couple of competitors on Clemson team between ETN and you think ETN will win it?
No.
I don't see any reason why not.
The only person that will win it is
Trevor Lawrence. Yep. Both of them have a good shot, I would say.
It's a quarterback trophy, pretty much.
It has been, but you could argue that ETN has been pretty beast mode throughout this entire season. Trevor Lawrence obviously hasn't missed a beat either, so he's got a couple guys to compete with, and in your opinion, at least one to compete with for the Tigers. But he's got a good shot at the Heisman, I think. I think he came close last year as well. So we'll see how the season fares for him. They should start off good against Nebraska. What a big win. Heading down to the ACC now, we see North Carolina State. They're taking on a North Carolina team that's been stunned by Florida State last week. And the Wolfpack, by the way, stunning a lot of people with how they've been winning so far this season. How do you see this game going?
I see that North Carolina, they bounced back pretty much. Close for about 2 quarters, then in the second half, they pretty much pull away.
Yeah.
Then they cover the 15 points.
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't know if they cover the 15 points. I think they could. I think it'll be just under that, probably about 14, 2 touchdowns where I'll have North Carolina. Fun to see. It's a ranked matchup in the ACC, 23 North Carolina State. Here and there, But North Carolina dropped down to number 14. I think, like you said, I think they'll bounce back. I think depending on how their victory goes, if they are to get a 15-point victory, like you said, I think they could find their way back. Depending on who loses, they could find their way back into the top 10. If it's a little closer, they'd probably stay right around that range. Too much talent, and I think North Carolina had a bad game all around. Obviously. It happens. It's bound to happen. Some of the best teams always have those games at some point in the season. So if you're North Carolina, you're probably hoping that you got it out of the way quickly and you can turn that around. So I'm going to go with the Tar Heels as well. As we scroll down the line here, we see two teams that are in the SEC that had a lot of momentum starting the season, but they're starting to struggle right now. We have Auburn taking on Ole Miss.
Oh, this is a tough pick right here.
It is. It really is.
I'm gonna go with Ole Miss on this one. I've been thinking about this one all day, pretty much. Sort of, it's an upset, but it's not my upset of the week, so I'm not 100% certain on this one.
Yeah.
But too much offense, I think.
And that's how I'm feeling. I think Ole Miss probably too much offense for Auburn. We seem to be leaning the first 3 games together. Well, see how the rest of the games fall. I don't. It kind of scares me a little bit when we both agree.
Which isn't unusual though.
No, I mean here
normally we get like two games off.
Yeah,
that'll be different on.
I suppose you're right. I know back in the day we used to disagree on literally everything. I think that's part of what made us decide to do this. these videos in the first place, and then all of a sudden we start doing these videos, and all of a sudden we're like-minded. But I think you've been seeing what I've been seeing throughout this season, and even in Ole Miss's losses, their offense has been on par with what it usually is for Ole Miss, and really a team in Ole Miss that had a great chance. They could have easily beat Alabama. I think there's too much firepower for Auburn, and you saw what happened last week against South Carolina for the Tigers as well. Wow. So that tempo for Ole Miss should get the job done. Now we have two teams that I'm not really sure what to make of at this point. We have Florida State. They're now 2-3, taking on a 1-4 Louisville team that we were pretty hyped on at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, this is actually my upset pick of the week because I'm actually very confident on this one.
Okay.
I got Florida State in this one.
Yeah, and Louisville, like you said, is favored by only 4.5. They are playing at home. Probably a trendy upset pick.
Travis, quarterback, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I like him.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh, yeah,
Gotcha. Okay. And I like him a lot too, but like probably a trendy upset pick this week with Florida State just beating North Carolina. I'm gonna actually go Louisville, so we can differ on this one. I don't know. I haven't really liked what I saw from either team, even with that win last week with Florida State. I think Florida State is starting to get better, but I think they find a way. Well, true. I think they're going to find some way to lose this game after the high, so to say, from last week.
But you can say that they're used to winning games like that, though. But not
they?
Not in the last couple of years, but they're used to winning games like that, though.
Well, yeah, back in the day, but none of these players were on that team when they were winning those games. Florida State fans are used to winning games and are still in a state of shock right now as to where their program has turned over the past
hard to believe,
5 years. It is hard to believe, and like I've said before, it's not what the ACC needs. The ACC needs Florida State to be good. You know, that's just one of the things that has throughout the past made the ACC what it is. So it'd be great to see Florida State win this game, but I just have a bad feeling that Louisville is going to come in and they're going to get this W. As we scroll on back into the SEC, we see a rivalry game. Winner of this one always gets to smoke the traditional cigar. We have Alabama, number 2 in the nation, taking on Tennessee, who has fallen out of the top 25. How are you feeling?
Alabama all the way, not even close.
Yep. That I mean, honestly, that's really the whole piece for this one. There's nothing left to be said. And I will say this though: did you see what happened with Tennessee with their defensive line coach? Okay, so this guy gets hired this year to coach the defensive line. He gets paid $600,000, somewhere in that range. And they've played, 4 games now and fired. Jimmy Pruitt fired him. He goes in the press conference. He said, talking about their defensive line coach, he said, "This is a great guy." He said, "He's one of the greatest minds I've ever coached with. He's wonderful. But I'm firing him. But he's great. He's one. I love him, but he's fired." And I just think, I don't know what happened between these two guys recently, but it just seems very fishy to me, especially when that wasn't even one of their major issues moving forward.
Yeah.
Pruitt needs to look in the mirror before he fires his defensive line coach, and for whatever reason, he's always had problems with defensive line coaches. So I don't know if he just doesn't like defensive line coaches in general, or what the issue is. It's a story you guys probably want to check out if you get a chance, because it's really interesting stuff going on in Vol country. As we move on down, we're going to go back into the ACC, and we're going to take number 3 Notre Dame, and they're taking on unranked Pittsburgh. How do you feel about this game? Any chance Notre Dame slips up here?
Very close game, I think.
Okay.
With Pittsburgh's defense, I think they have a chance. But I think Notre Dame pulls out like a 3-point victory.
Okay, that's probably closer to what I'm thinking. I think Notre Dame's going to win this one. I'm not going to say handedly, but I think they might beat that 10-point spread that they have them at. I do like Pittsburgh's defense, and that could pose a challenge for about 3 quarters. And then I think Notre Dame will pull away later on in the fourth quarter. So take Notre Dame in this one. As we move down, finally out of the ACC and SEC, we're going to go into the Big 12 for a little bit. We've got Iowa State and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State surged up to number 6 in the nation. Haven't been able to play as many games as everybody else. I think they've had one postponed. But they're 3-0. Had a couple of close victories. How are you feeling about this one?
Oklahoma State.
All the way?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be a close game, but they have too much power on offense for Iowa State.
Yep. I think I'll go with the firepower here too.
41-38.
That does sound like a typical Big 12 score, so I can't argue with you on that one. Iowa State.
Actually, fun little fact. Big 12, they have like the best points per game on defense at like 29.
Wow, that is a.
And then SEC.
In the nation or in the Big 12?
They're the number 1.
Wow.
Like no. I'm talking about like Big 12 overall.
Yeah.
Like
the whole Big 12 overall.
Yeah, they're number 1, and then SEC is the last.
Yeah, I know. Who would have thought that, by the way?
I know.
I mean, at one point, just a week or so ago, you had Alabama and LSU and a few other teams in the SEC that were hanging around 76 in the nation for defense, for points allowed.
Yeah.
And how the tables have turned now. And we see people in the Big 12, like Oklahoma State, actually playing defense a little bit. So that's interesting. And that'll be interesting to see how that unfolds in this matchup.
It could be that the offenses are getting worse in the Big 12 too, though.
That's fair. That's fair, but I think
because Oklahoma's offense ain't as good as it used to be, and Texas' offense ain't as good as it used to be.
Oklahoma is in the spot now where they didn't have a choice but to go down with the type of productivity that we were blessed with over the past few years. So Spencer Rattler for the Sooners has done a nice job as a great quarterback, but he just you can't continue to keep living up to that hype year in and year out.
Yeah.
If you're Oklahoma. But if you're Oklahoma State, you have a chance to be Oklahoma kind of this year, kind of steal their identity. Starts by getting a win, though, a very important win in the Big 12 against Iowa State, because that's one of the teams that you're going to be one of your toughest competitions going on throughout this season. I think they can get it done, but like I said, I think it should be a pretty close one and a pretty fun one to watch.
So who do you got?
Oh, did I not pick?
No.
Oh, well, Oklahoma State. Sorry, I'm going with the Cowboys.
This I don't think you did.
I probably did in my head, knowing me. I probably thought you just knew.
Yeah.
And you should by now. Oh, your favorite one. I think you should be pretty excited moving forward now. 2-2, South Carolina taking on a 1-2 LSU.
Who do you think I'm going to pick?
I mean, I think you're going to pick Carolina.
Well, you're right.
Are you trending? Yeah.
No. I got South Carolina in this one. They're I think this can be too much offense, even though LSU's offense is averaging 40 points per game. But I feel like our offense is going to edge out LSU's pretty much.
Okay. I think the same thing. I think offense is going to be too much offense, but I think it's the reverse situation. I think LSU will have just a little bit too much offense for South Carolina. It's going to have to be a shootout, though, for LSU. If it's a shootout, I think LSU wins this. If there's any sort of defense played whatsoever, Carolina's got a shot. And it's odd for me to say this. If I would have told you preseason, I think Carolina has a good chance to beat LSU at LSU, you would have thought I was crazy. I would have thought I was crazy. I would have checked myself into the insane asylum. But we're at the point now where this is one of the wildest stories I've seen in college football. What a one-hit wonder for LSU. Understandable. They lost everybody.
17 players.
They lost 17 starters, including one of the greatest quarterbacks to play college football in that stadium with Joe Burrow. You lost your offensive coordinator, he was the backbone of the offense. People don't maybe know that, but with Joe Brady, and you lose Thaddeus Moss, you lose basically the entire defense. But unlike other national championship branded teams, LSU clearly didn't rebuild as well as we've seen championship teams in the
And
past.
it's kind of hard to when you lose 17 players, though.
Well, I've seen it before, though.
Have you?
Is what I'm saying. Well,
Yeah.
Alabama, Clemson,
That's
both
true.
of those guys, Ohio State. So when you have LSU, I mean, like I said, that's a one-hit wonder.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, you find yourself losing to Missouri.
Mm-hmm. That's bad.
So yeah, it's real bad. So anything can happen at this point. I could see a Carolina victory, but I'm going to go with the Tigers' offensive shootout. And that leads us to our
Game of the
biggest game. Yeah, the game of the week. College Game Day is going to be rowing the boat because they'll be in Minnesota. The Wolverines of Michigan taking on Minnesota. This is the top 25 matchup, and I think it's going to be the best game actually that we've got going on in our slate.
Mm-hmm.
So looking excited for it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm gonna go with Michigan in this one. I've been going back and forth and really not knowing who to pick.
Yep.
But I got Michigan. Just a little bit too much offense in this one.
Sure. So, if you'll remember, preseason, we had that video. We gave our picks for every single team in every single conference and
Hard to
laid
remember.
out. Yeah, hard to remember everything, but we laid out for you guys how we thought their entire season was going to fare, wins and loss, and we broke down virtually every game that we could.
Which we really can't go about that anymore because of
Right.
all the schedule changes.
So all that's flipped upside down
Mhm.
because of COVID. Before that, before COVID, pre to all this, if you remember correctly, I had Michigan at like 3-8 this season. I'm not gonna stop now. I haven't even played a game yet. Why get off of that train? Why lose confidence now? I'm gonna go with Minnesota for basically that reason because I just don't like Michigan. I don't mean that like, oh, I hate Michigan, I'm a Michigan hater. No, I mean like this season in particular, I don't like what I think Michigan's going to do, and because of that, I'm gonna say Minnesota.
It can go either way, honestly.
And that's actually, by the way, that's my upset pick
Mm-hmm.
because Michigan is favored in this game. So
Okay.
so
I won't be
So that-
surprised.
right there, you've already gave your upset
Yeah.
pick.
Florida State over Louisville.
Yeah, Florida
Just in
State
case.
over Louisville, just in case
We missed it.
anybody missed it. Keeping track with those, by the way, we're both doing pretty well. 2 losses for me, only
One
one
loss.
loss for you. So might be something you guys want to pay attention to when we call these shots now.
Especially me. Maybe not you.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm an overtime victory
From
one overtime away from having the same record as you, if you want to put it that way. So
Yeah.
so we're doing well, and hopefully we keep doing well.
What's your record?
What do you mean?
What's your record? How many losses you got?
2.
How many did I got?
1.
Okay.
Your point?
I was just wondering.
Hey,
Oh, I forgot.
we're also 1 game away from being tied.
That's true. Or what if you
Look at
lose?
the way- Hey, it's how you.
What if
finish.
you lose and
It's
I
how,
lose?
it's how you finish.
Okay.
It's all at 4th quarter. Right now it's more like second half, but
Okay.
going down the stretch.
Second quarter.
Yeah, it's probably second quarter, roughly.
Okay.
We'll call it that. Anyways, before we end this, I would quick shout out to the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina in the top 25 for the first time. Proud of those guys. They've worked really hard. They deserve it, even if it's just for the mere fact that they haven't done this before. They, of course, haven't been in the FBS that long. So it's really crazy to see the success that they've been able to have. So that's really good for them. Thank you guys for watching, and we hope that you continue to watch. Hit the like button and continue to follow us on Twitter. Follow us on YouTube as well.
Leave a comment and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Thank you guys.